Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel where we learn about historical places, art and architecture. So let's begin the video. So today's video is all about the Dravidian style temple and it was built by the Pallava dynasty. So first I will give you a little intro about the place and people associated with it. So it will be easy for you to connect it with the topic. So you guys must have heard about the city Kanchipuram, geographically recognized for its Kanjivaram sari, but it holds a very significant position in Indian architecture and history. Kanchipuram was considered as one of the most beautiful cities in India in ancient times. Kanchi had a glorious past, and till the rise of Madras to prominence in 18th century, it was the outstanding city in the northern Tamil Nadu. It was a well-established city long before the Ashok Maurya, and graphic description of it occurs in Tamil classics of the Sangam age. It was a prominent center of Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. It was also an educational, institutional destination which imparted higher learning in various systems of Indian philosophies, medicines, warfare, etc. It attracted many able scholars to the country and it was an important center of learning for over 500 years. The Pallavas made Kanchipuram their capital and it continued to be the seat of their power for nearly 600 years. The glorious era of the Pallavas begins with Simha Vishnu, followed by his illustrious son Mahendravarman, an accomplished artist and poet, ushered a new era of art and architecture by excavating cave temples in various parts of his kingdoms, and his successor Narasimhavarman I, a remarkable warrior, who extended the territory by inflicting defeats on all his enemies. It was during his time the Chinese pilgrim Huansang visited Kanchipuram. After the reign of Narasimhavarman I, the city was lost for a brief spell to the Vikramaditya of Chalukyas, but Parmeshwara I recovered it soon and drove back the enemy. Now comes Rajasimha. He was the son and successor of Parmeshwara I, known variously as Rajasimha, Narasimha I and Atyantakama. He retained the vast empire bequeathed to him and maintained active marine contacts with Far East and is credited with having ruled overseas like Laccadive Island. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He was even fond of worshipping the lotus feet of Shambhu. His titles like Ishan Chandran, Devadeva Bhakt and Param Maheshwar etc. shows his intense and affectionate love for Lord Shiva. The temple we are going to talk about is named after him, the Rajasimhesvara temple. It was built around the first quarter of the 8th century AD, but now it is known as KAILASHNATha temple. The temple is the most ancient to survive in the city of Kanchi. The temple is remarkable for its architectural beauty and the wealth of sculptures. The temple is inspiration for the Chalukyan temple of Virupaksha at Pattadakal and the most celebrated Kailash temple at Ellora. Now let's come to the main component of our video, the temple architecture. So, at the end of the temple area, placed on a raised platform, is an image of Nandi, Lord Shiva's mount, and lion pillars at the corners. Originally, these pillars supported a mandapa or a pavilion, the superstructure of which has fallen, and the Nandi is placed at a distance facing Shiva shrine. Now, in line with the entrance are 8 small shrines, arranged in a row, 2 to the south and 6 to the north of the entrance. They bear a close resemblance to each other. All of them face east and are built on a raised platforms of equal height with ornamental moldings. On the platform is the shrine chamber, preceded by a porch. All of them enshrine Shiva in the form of prismatic ling inside sanctums. At the back of the wall sanctum, Shiva is portrayed with his consort Uma and child Skand in sculpture. We can see various aspects of Shiva, for instance, Lingodbhav, Yogamurti, Dakshinmurti, Kshetrapal, Harihar, and many more. Originally, the sculpture was covered with a thin film of plaster and painted. The sandstone used in the construction of these shrines has weathered due to the passage of time. All the shrines are two-storied, topped by a shikhar. A small wagon-roofed ornament crowns the entrance to the temple. Entrance towers or gopuras were small in the 8th century AD. They rose to very great heights as their importance grew through centuries and are now the dominating features of the Tamil landscape. At the entrance stands a temple with a flight of steps leading to the sanctum. This was built by Mahendravarman III, Rajasimha's son. This temple in front was built at the same time as the main temple. On the basement of the shrine is an inscription in Sanskrit in Granth characters, recording the erection of the shrine. On the parapets of the steps are labeled inscriptions giving the name of the temple as the Shiva temple of Mahendravarman. In the center of the sanctum, Shiva is enshrined as fluted linga. On the back wall, a sculpture of Somskand is installed. On the south wall of the front hall, here Shiva in Bhikshudan form, standing over 8 feet high. On the north wall is a thrilling pose of dancing Shiva performing the Samhar Tandav, the dance of destruction. The shrine is encased by enclosure walls on the east, south, and north. On all the 3 walls, there are sculptural representations of deities, all facing the inner shrine. The main temple has 3 components. First is prakar, the outer corridors with enclosure walls running around. Second is the main shrine with sanctum tower. Third is the pillared mandap in the front. Originally, the pillared mandap was not connected with the main shrine, but stood apart from it. It was in the 17th century that the two were connected. So, the enclosure walls carry all around a row of cells projecting from the back wall. These cell shrines are square in shape and have the shrine chambers on raised basements, ornamented with moldings. The shrine chamber is preceded by a small pavilion-like structure, supported by pillars with either seated lions or mythical figures called vyals. Over these, the towers rise up. At the 4 corners are seen elephants and lions. The row of cells on the south and north walls has its shrine chambers open to the east, and the approach to these is narrow. The inner walls of these shrines are devoid of sculptures, but were originally plastered and painted. There are strong grounds to suppose that the back walls of the shrine chambers probably had the Somskand motif painted on them. At least at one place, a painting representing this aspect has survived. The shrine chambers on the east and the west face the inner side of the temple and carry the Somskand panels on the back wall. There are 2 series of sculpture around the enclosure consisting of those on the projecting cells all around and those on the enclosure wall itself in between the cells. The sculptures on the walls of the enclosure may be divided into many categories. One representing goddess Parvati under a tree holding the instrument veena and surrounded by attendants, elephants, buffaloes or antelopes. In some panels, the representation of bearded sage in front of the Devi, representation of Shiva in different aspects or Saptamatrikas, etc. Placement of sculptures and structures, it proves the marvelously planned and laid out plan as per the Agamic texts. Now, if we talk about the front mandapa in the front, supported on plain pillars, is coeval with the main temples in age. The corner walls of the front mandapa carry sculptures which are heavily plastered over. The pillars carry a number of inscriptions ranging from the 8th century to the 16th century AD in date. The earliest inscription in this mandapa is of historic importance. It is in Kannada characters and was engraved by order of the Chalukya king Vikramaditya II, who captured Kanchi probably within 10 years of the construction of this temple. Vikramaditya came to Kanchi to avenge the defeat of his ancestors at the hands of the Pallavas. When Vikramaditya captured the Kanchi to avenge the defeat of his ancestors by the Pallavas, this temple enchanted him. He admired the beauty of this temple and gifted gold to it. Vikramaditya took some of the best artists from Kanchi to his kingdom Pattadakal, where under the order of Queen Lokma Devi, they erected the temple Virupaksha. That is why we see resemblance of KAILASHNATha Temple in many aspects. After this comes the main tower. The Viman, or the main tower over the sanctum, rises steadily and majestically, with rows of sals and kutas running around the tower like garlands. The Viman is topped by an octagonal shikhar, like the Dharmaraj Rath of Mamalapuram, and is crowned by a stupi. This elegant tower served as the model for the later Vimans of Tamil country. In earlier times, the superstructure over the sanctum was mainly built of brick and mortar, but stone has been used from base to the top in this temple. It was perhaps the loftiest stone tower in the whole of Tamil Nadu when it was built, and was therefore rightly called the Great Stone Temple. Periya Thirukarali in inscription. Now comes the main shrine. The main sanctum is reached by a flight of steps at the southern side of the connecting mandap. This mandap carries several fragmentary inscriptions of the Chola period on its floor and ceiling. The main sanctum faces east. Inside the sanctum is Lord Rajasimhesvara in the form of prismatic ling in the center. The ling with 16 facets is of a highly polished granite stone over 8 feet in height. The main shrine has 7 subshrines at 7 corners. These shrines are called Anga Alyas. The rear 3 faces west and the other east. Of the 3 sub-shrines at the back, the one in the northwest carries a big image of Bhikshthana Shiva, accompanied by Rishi Patnis. The entire outer walls of the main shrine, including the outer walls of the sub-shrines, are decorated with sculptures portraying various aspects of Shiva and other deities. In the end, if we look at the inscription, these are the dedicatory inscription on the base of the main shrine. Rajasimha has left over 300 of his titles engraved on the row of cells in the enclosure. These titles are carved in different scripts on the base of the cell shrines. Mention has been made earlier of the Kannada inscription of Vikramaditya in the front mandap of the temple. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos. So please like, share and subscribe with your friends and family. Thank you so much.